Hey, I'm Steve, and welcome to Boosting Your Financial IQ. On this channel, I help people to increase their financial intelligence so they can live better, more abundant financial lives. In this video, I'm going to show you how to analyze an income statement in just 5 minutes. So let's jump in. All right, I'm going to show you how to analyze an income statement. We are looking at Home Depot's consolidated statements of earnings, which is also known as their profit and loss, their P&L, their statement of operations. All of these terms refer to the same thing, which is their income statement. Note here that all of these numbers are expressed in millions of dollars, except for share data, which is not in this financial statement, so we don't have to worry about it. Each of these columns represent 12 months of activity, and their fiscal year ends in January. So instead of being January through December, their fiscal year goes from February through January. All right, so the first thing we're going to do is we're going to make some room, and I'm going to add some space here. So I'm just hitting Control-Shift+, and that will quickly add some columns. And I want to express this as a percentage of rev. Okay, percentage of revenue. So I'm going to put everything in terms of revenue. That's the first step to analyzing an income statement. So I'm going to put equals this, net sales is the same thing as revenue, divided by itself. And I'm going to hit F4 2 times until I get this C, which doesn't have a dollar sign in front of it, but a dollar sign in front of 8, which means column C is not locked, but row 8 is locked, which will make sense here in a minute when I copy this formula over. I hit Enter, Control C, V, Control V. I'm going to just paste this all the way down using Control C and Control V. Then I'm going to come in here, I'm going to copy format, and then I'm going to hit Control 1. This opens up the dialog box. I'm going to express this as a percentage with 1 decimal point. I also like this top thing, so I'm going to just copy that formatting, and bam, there we go. Then I'm going to just come in here, copy this, and paste it. Take this header. Okay, so that's the first step here, is to express everything as a percentage of revenue. So as we can see, their net sales equals 100% of the revenue, right? That it's 100% of itself. But then you go down the line, cost of sales, their cost of goods sold, the costs associated with delivering their products and services to their end user, which includes direct labor, direct materials, and other costs related to giving that product or service to the customer, is 66.5% in 2023. And then I just like to look across the years to see how it's trending. Pretty consistent here, 66.5, 66.4, 66%, which leads us down to gross profit. Gross profit is net sales or revenue minus cost of sales, okay, or cost of goods sold, all the same thing. There's just a lot of terminology here that different companies use, but it all means the same thing. Then we look at operating expenses. SG&A, which stands for Selling, General, and Administrative Expenses. I'm going to look year over year, 16.7, 16.8, and 18.5. So in 2023 to 2022, pretty consistent. But in 2021, that percentage was a lot higher. So the company's done a pretty good job of decreasing that as a percentage of revenue. So same kind of thing. You're just going to go line by line and see where things are trending. For Home Depot, it's pretty consistent year over year. So not a lot of movement there. But as you can see here, their operating income has increased. And the reason why they increased it, remember, was because they took their SG&A costs and they reduced it down to 16.7. All right, so that's the first thing I do to analyze an income statement. I express it as a percentage of revenue, and then I look year over year to see where the changes are. All right, the second thing I want to do is express everything as a percentage of change. So I'm going to type that in, percentage of change. And then ultimately what I'm looking at is the change year over year. So I'm going to take 2023, the current year, minus the previous year, divided by the previous year. So the way I always think about this, and let me fix my parenthesis here, is new minus old divided by old. So new minus old, the last year, divided by the old, right? That will give me this. I'm going to copy this down. Boom, boom, boom. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just copy this formatting because it's already expressed as a percentage. Shrink this column, copy this formatting here, and then I will just come in here and paste that, and that will give me the change year over year. Now, obviously, I don't have 2020 data, so I can't do a change year over year since I don't have that information. But I can compare the percentage of change for the most recent periods. So here, net sales has increased by only 4.1%, versus in 2022, it grew 14% compared to 2021. So that is what I'm looking at here is I'm just looking at the percentage of change over the period. So once again, operating income increased 4.3% from 2022 in nominal terms. So those are the two things that I like to do to analyze an income statement. I hope you got a lot of value out of that video. And if you did, make sure you subscribe to this channel so you get notified every time I drop a brand new episode just like this one. If you want access to more resources, you could get those at byfiq.com. And if you haven't already, download our free Boosting Your Financial IQ app on the Apple app or Google Play Store. Finally, make sure you check out this next video where I teach you how to compute EBITDA.